Yachts and Thoughts. Hope you're drinking your lemon ginger water. Mine's almost gone, but it's the thought that counts. On this episode of Yachts and Thoughts, we'll be talking about humbling experiences, or practicing creating a humble mental environment. Well, first off, the reason that it's important to be humble is to basically put yourself on a level where you're able to, experience life without having a godlike complex. You'll notice that you're sharing the world with people as opposed to the world being yours. All right, now first let's talk about the difference between humble and humility, because they're kind of synonymous with each other. The difference between humble and humility is their grammatical category. Humble is an adjective, as to where humility is a noun. Thus, humility always refers to quality, whereas humble refers to a person being modest. All right, now we will start off with humility. Humility is a modest or low view of one's own importance, humbleness. Now, the reason it's important to kind of understand humility, basically you're operating in a world that kind of tricks you into being the opposite of a humbled person. You have social media, you have lots of, at this point, movements that exacerbate poor behavior without accentuating accountability for one's actions. So it takes you away from humility and being humbled. Just because you just don't have an awareness of oneself. Your importance of self is much heightened at this point, I'd say, in the world. Because we're at a state in the world where our humility, I guess you would say, is tested or being stripped away. Some examples may be being courteous, maybe less holding the door for older, elderly people, less holding the door for anyone in general. I'd say one symptom or sign that you may lack humility may be because you're lacking a modest view of oneself. You could see it as, do you know, or are you the type of person as to where when problems arise in your life, it's always something that someone else is doing. For instance, you got fired because your boss didn't like you. You didn't get the present you want because, they never listened to you in the relationship or said relationship. You rear-ended the person because they hit their brakes too fast. Basically, lacking humility takes some of the spice out of life. If you always think of yourself with this God complex, or that you are the most important person walking around as you see all these other people, it'll take away from some of the experience in your life. If you see yourself as the highest point, then you're less likely to notice what's really going on in your immediate world. Now, I'd say that I've lacked humility or even being humble in certain instances. I mean, most recently, my most recent incident of lacking humility or being humble, I exercise every day, and I consider myself to be a pretty in shape dude. People ask me about physical stuff, and so it gave me some sort of a complex. I recently, about 3 weeks ago now, tried a yoga class, and it was hot yoga, but I went into the class thinking that I'm something special. I'm athletic. I exercise every day. This will be easy. This won't be hard at all. It's all women in here and a couple of dudes, and I feel that I am the strongest person here. So basically, going into the yoga class, I felt I felt that I wasn't going to learn anything, at least nothing that applied to me and my body, and B, I felt that because it was yoga, it was something that in my mind was easy. I already was at the belief that what I do was the hard stuff, and yoga was easy. And I also thought of it as a feminine thing as opposed to a masculine thing. But stretching and being one with your body is not feminine or masculine. It's just a human thing that people should focus on. But nonetheless, by the end of the yoga class, which I barely finished, I felt like I was going to throw up. There was tons and tons of women that were able to finish the class and do a much better job than I was. The experience at the end of it, because I had been beaten down, it humbled me. It put me at a certain spot. Now, this is a class that I attend twice a week. Because I had the experience, I was taken from one mindset and put into another mindset. And that's what I want a lot of people to try to focus on. Let's say even with political stuff. You may have your beliefs, but really, really try to delve into the other side. Don't watch just one news network. Watch all of the news networks and then form your opinion. Don't put the one belief you have as the main true, that's the belief it is, and that's what it is. You're not practicing being humble or humility. Try to have experiences, embrace experiences that you may have an opinion on already, but you may not have tried. Try doing things that you haven't done, but believe you know the A's and B's and C's too. These experiences will help lower that God complex, will help bring you down to a rational, reasonable level that you can be of use to other people at that frame of mind, at that vibration, at that frequency, because you are a person that is level, rational, and sees yourself as part of the group as opposed to superior to the group. You'll have a much better life experience. All right, now as far as the definition of humble, the first one, having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. 2, a low social or administrative or political rank. 3, lower someone in dignity or importance. Now, when it comes to being humble, like I say, you should practice having humble experiences. As the definition says, low social, administrative, or political rank. So meaning, once again, in your politics, who you think you are socially, your tax bracket. Try looking at all of these things as things that humans attach themselves to, and notice that all people attaching themselves to these ideas are human. So that is one practice for me that, like, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're anything in my world, you're a human who's making a choice, or at least was conditioned into a belief. To me, that's what it is. You're always still at baseline a human, regardless. No one can fly. There are no particularly special humans to me. There are humans who do incredible things, but no one particularly is special, at least in my mind, until I see that they practice a large amount of characteristics that I find, motivating, for me. That's when I would maybe, need to humble myself as far as my idols, and take some of the importance out of that person and look at just their actions and notice that those are good actions and learn from those specific actions, but maybe not, put so much focus or pedestalize the person. We are all just humans having an experience. There are things in the world that I don't agree with as far as, ideologically, etc. But that's because I've chosen some sort of a side, or I've put my belief system into certain things. But even when doing that, I still understand that regardless of the choices that I make versus choices others make, they're humans making choices. And that makes it very easy to understand and not be frustrated by the world around me. Once again, practice having humbling experiences. Every Saturday, there's certain meetings that I attend where I'm able to go and hear other people talk, listen to their stories, listen to their experiences, and I'm humbled through that experience. A, because I'm not making it about me. B, I'm learning from someone else and their experience. C, I'm learning from people who are having a similar experience in life and digesting it differently, and I'm able to hear their outcome as well. And that's why I say it applies to pretty much all venues of life. You may see something one way, another person sees it another way. If you are a humble person, you're able to still have your belief and completely listen to and understand the opposite or other sides of things that are happening in your world. Yeah, so just try if you can, and even look it up. I'll throw the definitions here on the screen, but look up some of these definitions of certain words. Look up the definition of love, like, which I will get to. But we have a way of living, but the way the world is going at this point, I mean, partially due to technology, we're losing some of the core, not even values, but some of the core components to being a well-rounded human. You can click on this video for your entertainment, or you can click on this video to be enlightened or learn something about the human condition. But nonetheless, it's still a choice. It's still, just another avenue for your mind to go down. So it's easy for me at this point to understand why we believe or do or think or even just have some of the societal problems that we have. Because we're human, the mind's been mapped. We have all of these little trips and triggers set in our way that help release dopamine and other chemicals in the brain that take us further from core human well-roundedness, I guess you'd say. We're oversexed, we're overstimulated, we're over-entertained, but we're really not focusing. We're focused, but we're just not focusing on some of the things that will bring us to a heightened sense of self. There's 10 other videos that I'll make on just getting to being a better person in general, but there are key components as we go to point out, to elaborate on, and then maybe incorporate or redefine in your own life. Thanks for watching. I hope you folks enjoy your evening, day, morning, afternoon, and we'll see you again.